How well do you know your chess terms? You may know what a pin is, a skewer, or maybe even a fork, but have you ever heard of the square rule, a Zugzwang, or what about a backwards pawn?
Oh, hell no, I'm out of here.
Well, to be one step closer to becoming a certified chess nerd, here are 35 chess terms that you need to know, from simple ones to borderline weird like Patzer, which means a garbage chess player like you, and that was number 1 on the list. Number 2 is the chess opening. As from the name itself, it is the start of the game, and according to Google, a very trusted website for chess, I swear, there are 1,327 openings and ways to start a game in chess, and this includes the Italian, the Scotch, the Roy Lopez. Yeah, I'm gonna leave you to that right there. Number 3, Gambits. This is an opening style where you give up a piece or pieces to gain an advantage, such as Queen's Gambit, where if accepted, you get BBC. The big boy center, and for others like the King's Gambit, where you sacrifice a pawn for... I don't know, don't ask me. Number 4, material. This term is just another way of demoralizing your pieces by calling them material. So, material-wise, pawns are worth 1 point. And number 5, the minor pieces being the bishop and the knight are both worth 3 points, but until today is still being debated on which is more valuable. The major pieces, number 6, are the rooks and the queens. The rook having a value of 5 points, while the queen at 9 points because it acts like a bishop and a rook combined together. And a rook is worth 5 points and the bishop is 3, so 5 plus 3 is 8, while the queen at 9 points because... Wait a minute, where'd that extra 1 point come from? Number 7, both moves, or what they call theory, which are a set of moves that has been played so many damn times that people start memorizing the best moves like nerds to counter the counter of the counter of the counter. Number 8, neighboring pawns. These are pawns that are next to each other like the C, D, and E pawns, but if C and E are captured, then D becomes an isolated pawn. Number 9, where it has no pawns to be with and forever will be alone and sad. But if no other pawn is in its way, then it becomes a passed pawn. Number 10. And once it makes it to the end of the board and becomes a queen, then it is called a promotion. Number 11. But what if it promotes to a rook, a knight, or even a bishop? Well, that is number 12, the underpromotion. Number 13, the beautiful Passant. This is when a pawn moves 2 squares forward, but an opposing pawn is waiting for him there and has 1 chance to teleport that pawn into the endless void of nothingness where he will never be seen ever again. Number 14, the backwards pawn. Protects neighboring pawns, but he himself has no protection, and if he moves, he will be brutally slaughtered. Now, let me ask you a question. What do you think this move is called? Well, you're absolutely right, it's a regular move. No, but seriously, this is number 15, the fork. When 2 pieces are attacked at the same time and there's no choice but to leave one of the pieces out there to die. Now what's even better is the royal fork number 16, when not only the rook and king gets forked, but also the queen! Juicy! Number 17, the skewer, when the king gets checked and there's no way to save the piece that was lined up with him, so the king has to move and the piece has to die. But in number 18, the pin, it's the other way around, where the piece cannot move because if it does, then the king would be the one to meet his fate in the afterlife. And when this move happens, it is called a Desperado, number 19, which is when a piece has met its fate, but before it dies, it will drag a piece down with him into hell so they will both rot together. Number 20 is called the Discover Check, where you move a piece and it opens another piece's vision in order to check the king, thus the name the Discovered Check. Hey buddy, how we doing with those openings? Oh my god, he's still going. The fried what? Number 21, castling. Look at it this way. Basically, the king walks 2 spaces and releases the rook for safety, and in some way, it looks like a castle. And after a few pawns are traded and the pieces shuffled around like a deck of cards, you've got yourself number 22, the middle game. And when this happens, this is called a trade, number 23. And if the pieces that were traded are at the same value, it is called an equal trade, number 23 and a half. Number 24 is called the sacrifice, and this is where you hear where you give up a piece so that you will get a positional advantage, and sometimes it may even win you a game. Now this is not a sacrifice, but this is called a forced move number 25, where the player has no choice but to make that move in order to protect the king. Number 26 is the battery, where you line up your pieces to a specific file in order to break yourself into the position brute force style. Number 27 is hanging or hung, means that you left a piece unguarded, giving the piece away like you left the damn queen hanging. Like, how the hell did you manage to do that? Number 28 is called an outpost, and this is when a knight has control of enemy squares, annoying the hell out of your opponent. A Zugzwang, number 29, is when you have a position where it is better if you just skip your turn because moving anything will give the enemy an advantage, but you know, it's chess, so you can't skip your turn, so there goes that queen. And after a few minor and major pieces are traded off, ladies and gentlemen, we have an endgame number 30. Number 31, the square rule, as explained by the Bota sister, is
and it lets you know quickly if your king is going to be able to catch a passed pawn. Can the black king catch the white pawn before it promotes? The way to know that is you draw a diagonal line from the pawn towards the promotional rank. You then complete it to draw a square, and if the black king can step into the square, then it's going to be able to catch the pawn. In this case, the king would not be stepping into the square, so he'd not catch the pawn.
That's good enough. Number 32, the Perpetual Check, is a check that forces only one move and both players go back and forth until they reach number 33, a threefold repetition where both players keep repeating moves, thus a draw. Number 34, a stalemate, where the player has no legal moves left and is in a position where the king is not being attacked, but if it makes any moves at all, it is going to die, so avoid this if you're trying to make a win here. And lastly, number 35, the checkmate, when your king is under attack and you cannot run, block, or escape the danger.
Oh, hell no, I'm out of here.
Man, the video's already over. You can stop already. Bro, you can stop.